So I'm assuming we're recording. This is kind of a funny thing, but I really appreciate NACCE and their ability to innovate and still make this happen this year with all the constraints that we have. Welcome to this presentation on engagement coaching to build healthy, well-rounded entrepreneurs. And that's what we want for the world. So in this session, we are going to, or I'm going to talk about, first start with me, who I am, my connection to NACCE, to entrepreneurship, and to students. This is about coaching. That's a key word in the title there. I'm going to talk about coaching, what it is, and how it helps students. And then we're going to go through a tool that can be used to help students have a better understanding of who they are as people. So let's start with me. I'm an instructional specialist at Anne Arundel Community College. What that means is I do some programming, I do some administration, and I teach. It is not a faculty position. It is a hybrid position. I teach business classes, entrepreneurship classes, but I help run our entrepreneurship program at Anne Arundel Community College. I help do some other things like high school, reaching out to high schools to help students and parents understand who we are as a community college, and just some other things depending what needs to happen in the college and in the School of Business and Law. So I have my Master's of Divinity. I was an ordained pastor for 15 years. I have an MBA and I'm an ACC, which I'll talk about in a minute. I've been at Anne Arundel Community College for a little bit over 10 years now. Started as an adjunct and then got a full-time position there, and have been involved in the Entrepreneurial Studies Institute in various ways, in various levels over those 10 years. And I've seen it grow and evolve and improve over the time. As I said, I help run the Entrepreneur Scholarship Program, which is funded for us by the Philip E. and Carol R. Ratcliffe Foundation. And we really want to thank them for their support of over 15 years, getting close to 20 years now, that they have helped support our students, hundreds of students through the semesters. And we currently have about 50 or 60 active students in our program. Quick commercial for the program. One is we offer a lot of support for the students. One, it pays for their college at Anne Arundel Community College. It pays for any class that they take. It can be a business class, entrepreneurship class. It can be graphic design. It can be massage. It can be architecture. It can be culinary. It can be construction management. It can be any industry, any discipline that you want, and this scholarship will pay for that, because the donors, the Ratcliffes, their philosophy was that if a student has to worry about money for college, they're not focusing on their business. And their goal, their mission, their vision was really to help students start businesses. And so they started this program, and it has evolved and grown over the years. I am also a trained coach. I have my ACC, my Associate Coach Certificate, through the International Coach Federation. And what that means, briefly, is that I've gone through training of over 60 hours of intensive coach training with about 20 other people at the time, doing coaching, learning different techniques. I've been coached by a mentor coach, someone who's much more experienced than I am, to help me improve my coaching. I've also coached people for a minimum of 100 hours, but I'm way beyond that at this point. And I took a test that the ICF, the International Coach Federation, administers to people who want to be certified. And I passed that on the first time. So that's how I got into coaching, was through the community college. Anne Arundel Community College has a great coaching program. I've been involved with that almost since the beginning, by being trained. I've assisted with some training, and I've spoken to coaches, and I've coached with them. I've also helped develop some coaching programs for students. And that's really the impetus for this presentation, is helping students through coaching. And I focused on our entrepreneurs. 4 years ago, we started, for those that were in our Ratcliffe entrepreneurship program, we offered free coaching. Now, coaching can be, $100, $150 a session. So it really is a $400 or $500 value to the students. Excuse me. to receive free coaching from our trained coaches. And every year, we don't require them. We offer it as a for them to opt into it and be committed to doing it. And we've had students that are in the program, and I'll come back to this later, in our program who started coaching the first semester. We offered it that stayed with their coach throughout their entire time at Anne Arundel Community College, and I think some even after they've gotten out of here. We're also starting a coach program with business students who are at risk of dropping out for various reasons, and we hope that these intentional conversations that our coaches have with the students will help them connect to the college and be retained by the college, and those students can be successful. As I said, there are over 150 trained coaches just at Anne Arundel Community College, and it's probably, at the time I do this, it's probably up to 200 now. They are just training people all over the place. So where this starts with coaching is about, I'm sure many of you have read the book or seen the TED Talk, Simon Sinek, Start With Why. It's a very popular TED Talk where he talks about, people don't buy what you sell, they buy why you sell it. They want to know your reason for being. What is it your why is? And that's really what coaching does. It helps people uncover and dig out those values that are important to them that help define their why. What is it that gets them up in the morning? What's important to them? What drives them? What, motivates them? Okay, so that's really what we do with coaching. And if you have questions, by the way, put them in the chat. I'll try to answer them if we can as we go, or at the end of this presentation. We'll take questions at that point, and there will be time for that. So please, put your questions in the chat, and if I don't answer them in the chat, we'll get to them at the end. Okay, so let's start with what is coaching. Okay, first, what it's not. Coaching is an intentional conversation. Coaching is not therapy. Therapy looks back at a person's life and says, why are you the way you are? Counseling looks back and says, what made you who you are today and how are you going to deal with that? Mentoring, which we offer our students mentoring and advice giving, that's part of our support for our students. Coaching is not mentoring, okay? Coaching is really asking questions, being curious about a person and helping them dig into who they are as a person and what's important to them. It'll ask questions like, what kind of advice would you want to give your younger self looking back? Or what is it in your life that when you do it, you just forget about time? We've all had those moments where it's like we're into something, we're doing something, whatever it is. It could be playing music, it could be writing, it could be teaching, it could be whatever. And all of a sudden it's like the day's gone. It's like, where did it go? What are those things? And what is it about them that make them so important to you? So coaching is asking those powerful, curious questions and helping the student, helping the client, if you will, dig into those values and what's important. So to quote from the Coach Federation website, International Coach Federation website, coaches help clients improve their lives, their relationships, and their business performance. And they make real and measurable differences in people's lives. So that's what we're looking at coaching. So when we talk to our students, we want to find out what is it in your life that's important, what are your values, and also what's preventing you from living those values. Okay, so coaches use a lot of tools to help guide those conversations. I'm going to share one with you now. We're going to work through it kind of as a conversation and see how we can use it as a coaching tool to help students, as the title said, be whole people, be well-rounded individuals. Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, we'll just move on. We'll get to that. Hopefully you have questions. Remember, put them in the chat. Okay, so the tool I'm going to talk to you about, we're going to go through, is called Ikigai, which is a Japanese word. And it translates basically reason for being, or to quote Simon Sinek, what's their why? What is your reason for being? And it's a process that we go through with students to help them find deeper connection to their personal values. Okay, and those values will inform who they are as a person and inform their business, not only what their business is, but how they'll run their business. It'll influence the way they live their lives, and it will impact their business in a positive way. So, starts with a simple question. What do you love, right? Easy, right? I love ice cream. I love pizza. I love long walks on the beach, right? Yeah, those are things we love, but it really goes deeper than that. Okay, it goes back to, you know, that question of when is it you're doing that you lose yourself in that you just lose all track of time. I'm going to go to the next slide, but I just want to say before I do that, take this and adapt it, okay, for your own use, for however you want. Use it to help you have deep, meaningful conversations with your students, with those who you're trying to help, with your entrepreneurs. Okay, so what do you love? Yeah, we're going to fill in all those circles. So what do you love? It's not that you love pizza, but what brings you joy? Okay, so let's say the answer is pizza. I love pizza. What is it you love about that? Well, one, when I'm hungry, it tastes good, right? And I'm hungry, it fills me. But there's more to it than that. When I go out for pizza with my family, it's having those connections, those relationships. And, you know, maybe they said they love their family. What is it about their family that they love? Okay. They love their family because maybe their family's honest with them. Maybe their family, and honesty is a value. And maybe that's an important value to that student. Maybe their family accepts them for who they are, warts and all. And acceptance might be an important value to them. Okay, or maybe it's just that relationship is more than, it's a deeper relationship with your family and your loved ones. And maybe relationship's important, okay, or community. Okay, so, you know, I love going out to eat. Well, what is it about going out to eat? It's being with those people. Okay, remember Olive Garden, you know, their tagline was, when you're with us, your family. They didn't talk about how good their food is. Quite frankly, their food, it was pasta. Anybody can make pasta. It was mediocre food. I've been to Olive Garden. That's my personal opinion. So don't sue me, Olive Garden. But that it's, you know, they were promoting being there with people you love. Okay, and eating is something that helps perpetuate that, helps build those relationships. So talk to the student about what they love and why. Dig into the weeds with them about what it is. Spend some time here. What do you love? Okay? And that's what coaching conversations do. Talk to them about what's important to them, what their values are, and how are they living their values, and what's getting in the way. Okay, we'll come back to that. All right, the next circle we talk about with our students is, what are you good at? Okay? What are you good at? It can be playing guitar. It can be cooking. Maybe you're good at cooking. Maybe you're good at gardening. And then when you combine, as you can see where the two overlap, when you combine what you love and what you're good at, that can be your passion. Okay, so we had a guest speaker with our Entrepreneurs Club, which is part of our benefit at the college. One thing we offer, a student-run Entrepreneurs Club. A guy named Jimmy Ha, who's a band member of the band Jimmy's Chicken Shack out of Annapolis, Maryland. And he talked about how he loves being creative. He loves that process, whether it's painting, whether it's music, and he's also pretty good at it. And you could hear in his voice as he was talking about that, his passion for playing guitar, for singing, for painting with somebody else. They'll go to, they'll take a blank canvas and go to like a festival, and while there's a band playing, another band playing, he and another guy will do a painting, and they'll paint over each other, and he loves that creative process, okay? And he's good at it. He sells his art. He sells his music. He goes on tour. He does things. But you want them to explore these things, to unpack it, okay? They're good at it and they love it. What is it about that? Okay, so that is our second circle of the Ikigai. Remember, questions in the chat. Third circle is, what does the world need? Right? What is it the world needs? So I'm going to talk about myself for a minute and coaching, okay? I believe right now that the world needs coaching, okay? And I love coaching. I think I love the process. I love doing it, coaching with people. I love being coached most of the time, but I love coaching other people. And I really see that as part of my mission. That's one reason why I wanted to do this presentation, is to get out there the importance and the benefit that coaching has for students, especially our entrepreneurs who are out there trying something, risking things, being told no. You know, if you're told no about your idea, your business, your product, your service, you better really feel like it's important for the world, that the world needs it. I've offered coaching to people and they told me no. Doesn't matter. I still think that I still believe strongly the world needs it, and I love doing it. That's a mission for me. That's part of my mission in life, is to help people see the benefit of coaching. Whether they coach with me or not really doesn't matter. Okay, I want them to see the benefit of coaching and how it can help them move forward in their life, whether they're starting a business or not. But we're talking about our entrepreneurs, okay, who are just, they love it. They want to do this thing, right? That's their mission. Well, now I want to look at, are you good at it? Okay, so I'm going to, talk about myself again for a minute. I think the world needs coaching. I love it, and I believe I'm good at it. Okay, so if you look at that little triangle between passion and mission, the blue, green, gold triangle, kind of the top of the little star there. If you're living there, okay, you're not in that bottom circle. You're outside that bottom circle, which we're going to get to. But if you're good at something, you love it, and the world needs it, okay, if you're living there, you're fulfilled, right? You're satisfied. It's just delightful to be there. It doesn't matter what that, we'll get to that other circle in a minute, but I just want to stay here for a brief minute, because this is where a lot of people are. They're good at something, they love it, and the world needs it. Like Jimmy Haha, but Jimmy's Chicken Shacks. He does some things, he just puts it out there. But that fourth circle, which is, you probably, hopefully you've guessed what it is, but it's, there you go. What can you be paid for? Okay. So if you're in the top three circles, you love it, you're good at it, and the world needs it, but you're not being paid for it. Well, you're thrilled, you're happy, right? It's a delight, but you got no money, right? You're not getting paid. You're not building any wealth. You're not being paid. You can't pay the bills, right? So it's important to get paid. That's important, okay? But let's get paid for something we love, something the world needs, and something we're good at. So I want to just stay here with this slide for a minute, kind of unpack it a little bit. So let's look at, if you're good at something and you get paid, that's your profession, okay? You might not love it, okay? If you're a plumber, you're good at it and you get paid, well, that's your profession. And if the world needs it, and the world needs plumbers, that can also be your vocation, and they kind of intersect there. So let's look at where those bottom three circles intersect. You're good at it, you get paid for it, and the world needs it, but you don't love it, right? Well, you're going to be content, right? Because you're getting paid. You're paying your bills, right? I heard some of you say, right. But you're not being fulfilled. You're not feeding those values that we work so hard to connect with. The value of relationship, of family, of connection, of honesty, of integrity, whatever your values are. If you're not feeding those, even if you're doing the other three, if you're not feeding those values, you're going to feel empty, right? Now, let's say, let's take the three circles on the right. You love what you're doing, the world needs it, and you're getting paid, okay? But you're not good at it, okay? Yes, the world needs it. You get paid for it and you actually love it, but you're not good at it. So I'll use myself as an example. When this pandemic started, I started playing harmonica. I hadn't played my whole life. And I'm a young guy, so I got years. But I started playing harmonica. I love it. It's fun and it's expressive and it's a challenge. And I believe the world needs it. The world needs music. The world needs creativity. My world needs it right now, right? And if I were to get paid for doing that, I'm not that good at it. So I wouldn't be very confident. I would not be confident to stand up in front on a stage and play my harmonica. I'll do it myself all the time. And, you know, I was playing just to get my head clear before giving this presentation, before recording this. So I'm not good at it. So there's really no need for it, right? I feel useless because I'm just no confident there. So also, if you love something, you're good at it and you get paid, but the world doesn't need it, well, what are you doing? Even if you can get paid for it, but the world doesn't need it, okay? You're not doing anything for anybody else. So you really want all four of these to be in balance, and we're going to get to that. So where you want to live is right there in the middle, the ideal. That's the ikigai. That's what we call our reason for being, okay? We're doing what we love, we're good at it, the world needs it, and we get paid for it. I mean, that's not work. I knew a guy, lived his whole life as an architect. He designed homes, and he loved it. It was his passion. He was good at it, and quite frankly, the world needed it. His type of build construction was very at one with nature. It wasn't gaudy, and I've seen a lot of his work, and he got paid very well for it. He lived in that circle his entire life, and you know what? He didn't work a day in his life. He did not work a day of his life because he was in there. He was doing what he loved. It just happened he got paid for it. You know, he was in there more than anybody else I knew. And he didn't keep hours. He just loved doing it. So, and we all know people like that they just, they're so into what they're doing. And they're in balance. Now, I think we're never fully in balance. I think that that's the goal. That's where we're trying to help our students go. That's where we want to go. We want to have our life be in balance, but it takes these intentional conversations with somebody. You don't just do that on your own. I think it's very difficult. It's very rare. It's the exception, and that architect I just talked about is the exception to this because he just did it. But, you know, to help the students uncover and unpack what it is they love, what their values are, and how that influences everything else is very important. Now, one thing I've learned, and I think you probably agree with me, is that talking to a lot of students, where they start, where they stay, where they want to focus on is this. They want to get paid. They want to make the money. And I think that's great. We want them to make the money, right? We want them to show that financial success in what they're doing. Okay, we want them to be successful that way, but we got to do the others first. Okay, we want to make sure they're good at what they do. That's why we have classes to train them. We want to make sure it's something the world needs. That's why we have our entrepreneurship classes where they look at it and say, you know, this is my idea. Well, what's the feasibility of it? Does the world really need it? Right? Are people going to pay for it? But what we want for our students, at least from my standpoint, is we want them to do what they love. We want them up here. We want them to emphasize what they love and to understand what their values are, what drives them, what gets them up in the morning. And then when you put all these together, that is their ikigai. That is their reason for being. Remember, money's not their why. I talked to a student when I was first started here, and he was part of the program. And I said, why are you in business? You know, what's the purpose of your business? Kind of like, what's your why? Although I didn't have it in those terms yet. What's the purpose of your business? And he said, it's to make my financial security. Make his own financial security was his purpose for his business. I'm like, well, I'm not going to do business with you because you're just out for yourself. I want you to be helping me, you know, or your client. I know your client. So this is the conversation we have with students. And as I said earlier, we have a lot of students that are in our program, in our entrepreneurship program. They get money, it pays for their classes. So we pay for their class to do their intro to entrepreneurship. What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? What's your idea? You know, does the world need what you're doing? Are you good at it? Can you get paid? You know, we have a lot of students that say, I want to own a restaurant. Okay. And I always, believe me, I love restaurants, and I'd love to own a restaurant myself, but I don't have the money. I wish I had $1 billion. I'd own a restaurant and I wouldn't have to work in it. Anyway, you know, the old joke, how do you make $1 million in the restaurant business? You start with 2 million and then open a restaurant. Anyway, we have these students, they want to open a restaurant. I said, what is it about owning a restaurant that appeals to you? Okay, that's one of those questions. You know, why a restaurant? And they said, well, I love to cook. I thought, well, you know, you could come cook at my house. If you love to cook so much, I'll buy the food, you cook it. Right? There's more to it than that. And they might be good at cooking. They might be we have some students that are awesome cooks. And I love it when they try their stuff out on us and they bring this in and say, here, taste this. They're good cook, good bakers, and we have a great culinary program that helps them develop that school and be good at it. And they can get paid to do it, and the world needs it. But you know, what is it about that they love? Let's define that. Let's help them understand that. That's their reason for doing whatever the business is, whether it's a marketing business, an educational business, a massage business, an architecture business, what other businesses are there? A plumbing business, whatever it is. Does it feed their values? And how do their values affect that business and influence how they run that business? Look, if they want to be a plumber, that's great. We've had a student go through this, and he was an electrician, and he started an electric business. And he's making a lot of money. He's successful. He got employees, and he's happy. He's doing, you know, he loves that business. That's not me, okay? And the world needs what he offers. He gets paid well, and he's good at it. So there he's living in his reason for being, okay? We offer this. We also talk about what's preventing you from living those values. What is it that's getting in the way? And sometimes it's their choice of business. They thought they wanted to do X, and it turns out that's really not what they want to do. Or they thought they wanted to be a business owner, and they realized that that didn't feed their values. They might not put it in those terms, but they figured out that really wasn't where they wanted to be. And so they moved on to do other things, which is a success. We want people starting businesses who have a passion for it. It's their mission, it's their vocation, it's their profession, and they're living in that, that center place as much as they can. So I said we have our entrepreneurship students offered to this, and I'm just looking at the time, and it's going quicker than I thought. I'm at about 30 minutes. So this is gonna end probably sooner, but let me tell you about a couple students that we've had go through this program, go through the coaching with one of our trained coaches at the college. And again, we offer it, we don't require it of them. One thing I've learned is that if you require somebody to do something like coaching, they're not into it, okay? If they're not committed to it, it's not gonna benefit them. They're not gonna see it. You know, it's like the old joke, how many psychiatrists does it take to change a light bulb? Well, just one, but the light bulb really has to want to be changed. And that's, you know, the students or go in resistant to coaching, it's not going to benefit them. Okay. And they'll find reasons and excuses why not. So what we do is if they sign up for it, we pair them with a coach, and then they meet with that coach. We tell them we want them to meet a minimum of 3 times over the course of the semester, 3 30-minute meetings. They can be, used to be face-to-face. Now we can't do that, but they also have the option of meeting virtually through Zoom, Skype, Teams, whatever it is they choose, or just by phone. And coaching can happen by phone. It's just about having that conversation. And we ask them to do it 3 times over the course of the semester. Now that's, you know, a $400, $500 value to the student that they're getting from this program. And we've had students start the first semester that are still with their coach. And they will ask me, can I continue with that coach? I'm like, absolutely, do that. I've had one student in all these years, in 4 years, say, I don't want to be with that coach. And we had a conversation about it, what it was about it that wasn't working. And we honored that. We said, okay, you don't have to, because it doesn't always work. And so you went with another coach. And I think that really helped him to have that other coach. But the student has to really want to. I was coaching with an employee, a new employee at the college, who went through this, you know, onboarding thing, and they required those employees to go through coaching, meet with a coach for 3 times. And we only met twice. And he was like, I don't want this. This isn't for me. I still see him, you know, everything's fine, but he's just like, nah, this isn't for me. So I didn't push it. I'm not going to say, well, you have to do this, because it's not going to benefit them at all. So I want to show you a quote that a student, one of our students gave us, and this is on our website, which I will give you at the end. So coaching, and I am going to read it. I know this goes against everything that I teach my students in business communication. Look at too many words on a slide, right? Don't ever do that. That's what I tell my students. But this is a quote from one of our students who has since graduated and has seen the benefit of coaching. Okay, so this, and I apologize for reading it, but I want to go through it, and I'll stop along the way, make some comments. This experience has been enlightening and confidence boosting. Let me just stop right there. Confidence boosting. Don't we want our students to have more confidence in themselves and what they're doing? And if they understand how they're feeding their values by what they're doing, that'll improve their confidence. I think it's a great thing. And this quote was just from this student. We didn't edit it at all. The student says, I realized there were areas of my life where I was stagnant because I was not considering my goals first. So there were things in this student's life that were preventing the student from achieving goals, okay? You call them a lot of different things. We can call them saboteurs, we can call them gremlins, we can call them negative nannies, whatever you want to call it, those things that get in the way. In addition, I'm continuing the quote, by hearing someone else summarize what they heard me say. In other words, that's what the coach does. You said this, and this is what I heard, either in your words, the tone of your voice, the look on your face, whatever it was, the coach will mirror that back. And, you know, that's that active listening. And the student says, I was able to hear where those areas were, and then how I plan to overcome the stagnation. The student was stagnant. How many of us know students that are stuck? They just can't move forward. No matter what advice we give, no matter what we share with them, they're stuck. And they won't take that next step. They won't move forward. Well, coaching helps them move forward. Continue the quote. My confidence was boosted. I achieved calmness and peace. Calmness, wouldn't we like our students to be calm and peaceful? Make our lives a lot easier, wouldn't it? Through recognizing my strengths, and again, there's that confidence. What are our students' strengths? Help them uncover them, and areas of possible conflict. What's getting in the way again? Then purposely moving to mitigate obstacles in the path of my goals. Not just hopefully, oh, I hope it'll get better. No, saying, how am I going to make this better? How am I going to go overcome this obstacle? go over, through, around, under this wall that's right there, right? That I've put there myself. It's my own, it's in the back, you know, it's like the two, there's the angel and the devil. This is the devil saying, you can't do it. All the no's, no, 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 no. That inner judge that we have, right? Okay. Overall, I was able to see that my perception of my circumstances was not my reality. That's that inner judge that we have that tells us we're not good enough. We're not smart enough. We shouldn't have any confidence because, you know, we're not going to be able to be successful, right? That's that inner judge. Well, coaching helps us overcome that. In fact, I'm in a much better position than I initially believed. Better than what she believed. And she knows exactly where she wants to be in the next 2 to 4 years. I think that's great. There's so much in this quote. I'm just going to leave it there for a minute. And I think you all are going to get access to these slides so you'll be able to see that. But it's also on our website. Yeah, it's just this student, the difference in their life through coaching was just phenomenal. Okay. So we have other students that have gone through coaching that continue to say every semester, like, can I continue with this or not? And we say, that's great, continue with it. Okay, so I am grateful for you. I'm grateful to you, for being here, for listening, for being a part of this, for the questions that you're asking, going to ask. That's my contact information. That's our entrepreneurship website. There's a lot of information there. If you have any questions about anything, please email me and just put in the subject that is part of this presentation. I am grateful for you for this time. Grateful to NACCE that they allowed me to do this. And I'm just going to see what kind of questions there are at this point and hopefully clarify some things. We have time for that. So again, thank you for being you.